All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to my InDesign Live on Tuesday. Hey everybody, welcome. As I see people coming in the room, glad to have you here. And let's go ahead and switch over so you guys can see a bigger, better me. All right, what's up? So we got a lot of folks here already in the room, kind of just waiting for this topic to begin. Today we're going to be talking about, of course, Adobe InDesign. It is InDesign Tuesday. And we're going to be talking about how to create a table of contents for your next InDesign project that's longer than a page or two. In other words, if you're doing a newsletter, newspaper, magazine, ebook, a book, whether it's printed or digital, a table of contents will help you even with your electronic documents by giving people the ability to navigate quickly to the article or part of the publication that they want to read most. So that's what we're going to talk about, is how to do that. Hey Rita, all the way from Europe, welcome as well. And I got some folks on YouTube, and of course, let's get some folks over on Twitter as well. I'm going to switch over to my computer, and I have a document. Actually, this document came as one of the built-in templates. So all I basically did was I went to new document. And I found, I went to print and I found this clean newsletter layout, which is free. So you can download the exact same template that I'm working with. Now it is a template. That means you can go in and make changes to it. So I've already added my own picture. I've already changed some of the text to say what I wanted to say. I think originally it said 2017, 2018. Well, we're moving into the new year. So 2018, 2019. I built my document around just the topic of mountain climbing. So it's called Summit. And we have the peak and the welcome and going up, and you get the idea. So at the top, the sky's the limit, air. I was running out of things to say. All right, but anyway, we did it, our team, so forth and so on. So this is all just stuff in the template ready for you to customize and build your way. Now there was some stuff on this side. It was basically a duplicate of these circles and text frames. I deleted all that. I moved stuff over because I'm going to put my table of contents right here. Now, if you're building a table of contents and you're doing it manually, that's a lot of work because you've got to go in and type all the article names, go back and look and see what page they're going to be on, make the page numbers. And that's great if you only have to do it once for a small publication, but if anything changes, then you got to go rework it and change it and make sure everything's still on the same page number and so forth and so on. So the idea is to not ever have to do that manually. InDesign has had, and for many years, a built-in table of contents feature. So I see some shout outs here. Hello in Poland, and hello Drew. So, and welcome everyone else. So I see some folks from Switzerland, all over the world. This is great. So anyway, building that table of contents without having to do it from scratch. Now it does involve one InDesign. It relies on another InDesign feature, and that is using style sheets. So what I did was I went in, and everywhere there was going to be an article, which by the way, we could drag a photo in there to make that look cooler. Let's do that. Let's get rid of the styles here. Let's just drag some. We'll just grab a mountain photo. Let's just search for one. We'll search Adobe stock. We don't have to buy it. And we'll just say mountain. All right, so we got some cool mountain scenes here. Oh, I kind of like this one. So we'll just drag that one in and put that right inside that picture frame. Now I haven't licensed it, so it still says Adobe stock, still has a watermark on it. But anyway, everywhere that I put in the name of an article, I made that into a paragraph style. So the paragraph style for each of my articles, we go back, get out of stock for a minute, if we go back to the paragraph styles, is called TW titles. So my going up is TW titles, my at the top is TW titles, my the sky's the limit, air, each one of my actual article names is using that same style. Style can be whatever you want. It doesn't matter what the style is, it doesn't matter how it formats the text, but you need a paragraph style for everything you're going to want in the table of contents. Now, the table of contents can also contain more than one style. Maybe you've got a main article and you've got subheads for different sections of that article, and you want all of that in the table of contents too. You can use as many style sheets as you want, but you got to use style sheets. You just can't go in and format the text and not ever save it as a style, because the table of contents feature looks for style sheets to populate the table of contents with. So that's the first requirement. Go in, everywhere you're going to want something in a table of contents, give it the same style. Second thing, once you've done that, you're ready to create your table of contents. You just have to have space where you want to put it. So a lot of people will have just a blank page waiting for the table of contents. If your table of contents is going to be small, it can be on an existing page with other content, like page 2 or early on in the document. But you got to have some space where you're going to put it. So mine is going to go right here on the welcome page in this blank area that I left for it. So next, what do? We go to layout and we come down to table of contents. And notice that there's table of contents styles. So if you want to go to that first, you can go in and build styles for how you want your table of contents to be styled. In other words, how you want the actual table of contents to look. You can go ahead and create those too. We're going to do that on the fly. So let's go in and just go to layout, table of contents. This is the feature that actually generates the table of contents. And this is where you start off with, what's that table of contents style? We didn't give it one. We didn't make one. That was that other dialog box. We're just going to use default. Then the next thing it wants to know is, what's this going to be? I'm going to remove this because I'm going to set it all back to the way it would look by default. Okay, that's the way it will look by default. Next thing it's going to want to know is what's it actually going to put on the top of your table of contents? The word contents, table of contents, what's inside, whatever you want to say, that's what it's going to actually put at the top of the table of contents. So I like to do a what's inside. You could say in this issue, whatever you want it to say up there. Now notice that right next to that is a style. In other words, what do you want the what's inside to look like? So if you've gone in and made all the styles for your table of contents, you can actually style the way you want that to look. I did not do that. So I could pick make it look like my body text, or make it look like one of my other titles, like a subtitle, make it look like that. I don't know what that's going to look like because I don't remember what the subtitle is for this template, but you can go in and make it look like whatever you want it to look like, or just leave it unstyled, and then you can style it later manually. Now, this is the big one. This is what makes it work or not work. And this is styles in the table of contents include these paragraph styles. Remember when I told you had to go and style each one of your articles, your headings? That's what I did, and I told you I called it TW titles, I think. There it is, TW titles. So we're going to add that in. And remember I said it can have more than one. So if you're using multiple styles for how you want, or for articles that you want to include, or sub-articles that you want to include, you just pull them all over. I only need one, the TW titles, that I went in and did, up in the air, and all the other ones that I specified. Okay, at this point, we could click OK, and it would generate it for us, but let's keep going. The next thing is, for that TW titles, for each one of those items in the table of contents, what should it look like? Back to the same thing. What should the entry style look like? Now, if you leave it same style, that's going to create kind of a mess, because what that's going to do is it's going to make your table of contents, those nice big headings that you've got on the pages, those are what your table of contents is going to look like too. So we don't quite want our entries on our table of contents to be that big. So instead, I'm going to use the body text style that's already in the document. Had I gone in and created style sheets for each one of my things, I would be all set. But since you hadn't looked at this yet, you wouldn't have known what styles you needed to create. So you definitely would want one for the title. You'd want one for the entry. Now, the next thing is, do you want it to create PDF bookmarks, that's on by default. So if you're making a PDF, yes, you'd be able to click the table of contents in the PDF to go to those pages. Yes, we want that. Now, there's one other thing you should know, and it's buried in the more options. If you're making this for a printed piece, the page numbers are relative. They're going to be there. So page 1 is the cover, page 2 is the inside page, page 3, 4, 5, so forth and so on. But if you're making this into an ebook, well, especially one that reflows, there's really no concept of page numbers, because on a small phone, there might be 100 pages. On a tablet, there might be 20 pages, 30 pages, because the screen on a computer, there might only be 10 pages because the screen's bigger. So when the document reflows, page numbers don't really mean much. So if we click on more options, what you can do is you can say page number after entry or no page number at all. Don't specify a page number because it won't make sense in an ebook. Then people will just tap on the title and it will take them to wherever that page is in the ebook based on their screen size. So just keep that in mind, that that option is under fewer options, and otherwise you'd never see it. And also you get the option, right now it's going to say up in the air or whatever the name of the article is, and then the page number. You could say page number and then up in the air. So you could do the page number before the entry or after the entry as it is by default. What's going to separate the name of the article and the page number? Right now, it's a tab. That's what that T means. You could specify whatever else you want it to be, but the tab is what it's going to do by default. So those kinds of options to be able to change are built in to the fewer options or more options button. And you can even style those individual things. So like you could have page numbers be a character style. You could have your whatever this is between the entries be a character style. You can have different levels. All of that is buried in that more options area. So more options gives you all of that. Fewer options gives you not all of that. All right, so once you're done, once you've made all your choices, then you would click OK. And what you're going to get when you click OK is the place gun. In other words, it's saying, where do you want your table of contents to physically appear? On that blank page you left? On a page that already has content on it? Wherever it is, that's where you're going to put it. So I want to put it, hey, Shelley Hall, what's going on? I'm going to put it right here in the space that I defined for it. So it's going to go right in the spot. Now, again, I have no idea what it's going to look like because we didn't make our styles first. So it's going to be not formatted well, I'm going to guess. And it's a little better than I expected, but not formatted great. So at this point, this is now giving you the opportunity to go make some styles for your table of contents, and then you can go redefine it if you want to. So for example, this what's inside looks like it's even using a missing font. So let's go ahead and switch that out. Let's go ahead and say, instead of using bold italic, let's just use black. All right, so the what's inside is going to use black. All right, for my actual table of contents entries, if we were to zoom in on that, that's what they look like. So they're all there. They're where they're supposed to be. And they've got the page numbers after them and they're tabbed over, but we want to make this look a little bit better. So we're going to do two things. We're going to make our type size bigger. And we're going to go ahead and put in some formatting for the tab. So I'm going to bring up the tab ruler, which is right there. And we're going to specify that it's going to use a right tab and it's going to have a leader of dots. So I'm just going to put a period in there. And if you never worked with tabs before, this will make sense in 1 second. So we're just going to pull that down or pop that right on the ruler where I want it to be. There we go. Move that over a little bit, picking it up, moving it over. And that's kind of how I want my tabs to, or my table of contents to look. The nice big bold what's inside, each entry with the page number that it generated automatically. I didn't have to do any of that. With the tab, because it hit tab, but it just didn't have any formatting for the tab. So I'm in a tab ruler to give it that formatting. Now, the next thing I can do is I can actually go in and make styles for these things. So I can say that This new thing that I'm creating, let's go ahead and make it a new paragraph style. This is going to be my TLC title. So I'm making a style for it now that I've got it formatted looking the way I want, not based on anything else. Okay, and that's what that is. This is going to be my new style is going to be for this, my TLC entries. So let's go ahead and make that right there. We'll make this my TLC entry. And again, not based on anything else. This is just freestanding all by itself. And now I've got it. It will remember the rulers. It will remember everything else. It'll remember all that stuff. So if I go back up to my layout, table of contents, now I'd be able to give it those style names now that I made them. So this would be TLC title, and this would be TLC entry. And now that's why making the styles up front makes more sense when you kind of know what your style is going to look like or what you want it to look like. So maybe you make a fake table of contents first just to be able to style it. Make all your style sheets, and then when you come back here, when you're ready to generate the style sheet, you'll have all the styles to choose from. So when I click OK, nothing's going to happen because there was nothing to do. Now, if I were to go in, and let's say the document changes. First of all, let's go down and let's say we change one of the headlines, one of the articles. Instead of going up, this is going to be, we'll change this to the top. All right, so that's been changed. That's a style that got changed. And let's say that we're also going to make a new article. We'll make another new article up here. We'll just duplicate one of these, pull this down a bit, and we'll just duplicate that one, holding down the Option key, dragging it up. And we'll make this one, we did it, and we'll make this one almost there. All right, so I gave it a new article to put in the table of contents because that's using the TW's title style sheet. I've changed one of the articles to say something totally different, but now, so that now makes my table of contents out of date. All you have to do to correct it, click anywhere in it, go up to your layout menu, and now choose Update Table of Contents. That will be there if you have a table of contents you've already generated. It will be grayed out if you haven't used the table of contents yet. So if I just say Update Table of Contents, boom, done. The top has been added, and almost there has been added on page 10 because that's where it is. So you could rearrange pages, move stuff around, add in new articles, do whatever you want, and whenever you're done, update the table of contents. Then you've got your new table of contents. Now, when you PDF this, or when you make this into an ebook, or publish online, all of those become clickable automatically. So you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to make buttons out of them. You don't have to do anything else. They automatically, and you make an ebook, that automatically becomes clickable. And again, if you're making an ebook, the option you would choose one more thing that would be different. For the ebook, you would choose to not have page numbers. So page number after entry, I would say no page number at all. So all that's going to do when I click OK is just get rid of the page numbers. Because in an ebook, page 5 might be page 5 on a tablet, but it might be page 4, or maybe page, it should be maybe page 10 on a phone. It might be page 3 on a computer, because the size of the screen for a non-fixed EPUB, where the EPUB reflows, the pages could be all over the place. So for an ebook, I just want people to be able to tap to get to the articles they want. Doesn't matter what page it's on, because they're going to get to that article. So last but not least, of course, if we want to undo that and change it, undo it, puts it right back, puts the page numbers back in. And even if we go to the Pages panel, we'll do one more thing here real quick. We'll go to the Pages panel and we'll take one of the articles I did. We'll take page 10 and move it up. All right, so now we've rearranged the pages. So that's not on page 10 anymore. So if I were to go in and update the table of contents, those page numbers, I'm not sure what that did. Oh, there we go. Page numbers rearranged, and now that stuff that was on page 10 is now on page 7. and page 6. So it rearranged, actually it's on page 6. It rearranged everything the way it's supposed to be based on where the content got moved around. So that's how the table of contents feature works. Again, the actual look of it can be completely styled whatever way you want. Just change the style sheets to be whatever you want, and that's how your table of contents will look. As far as the entries have to use a style sheet, whatever style sheet you want, or multiple style sheets, but it would have to use a style sheet that's, you want to keep it unique to what's in what you want to be in the table of contents. So instead of just using titles, I made one called TW titles because I knew if I remember the TW, that would be the ones that go in the table of contents versus all titles where it could be multiple titles in the same article. Depends on how the person used style sheets. I didn't want that to happen. So making a unique style sheet, paragraph style for my table of contents is what makes it work so easily and so freely. All right, that is it in a nutshell. Basically, create styles, generate your table of contents, format your table of contents if you want it to be unique to the rest of the document, and character styles for the dots. So question was, can we have character styles for the dots? Yes, you can. You can have character styles for the dots and the numbers. I did mention that, but just in case you missed it. If you go back to table of contents and you go back to more options, you will have styles for the page number and styles for whatever that stuff is for the tab. So in this case, my case would be the dots. These are character styles that you can make for those two things. All right, and that's it. So that was the only other question I saw. And with that said, I just got my beep that I'm at my time. I'm going to say thank you, and I will see you guys tomorrow on the CC Design page on Facebook, and of course, all the other channels that I stream to on a regular basis. So with that said, cheers everybody. Take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.